Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Week 2 predictions. Now, another predictions. You know what I mean. So, Week 1 was pretty crazy. We'll, try to dive in what happened there this week. But yeah, it was pretty fun. So, starting off with Vikings at Eagles, I'm going to have the Eagles there. I think that the Eagles just match up really well, and obviously they're the more talented team. I do have some worries, though. They are my favorite team, so I saw their game, obviously, and I do have some worries. Offensive play calling has to be fixed. A lot of Eagles fans are already hating on Brian Johnson for the right reasons. While Hurts didn't have his best game, he didn't play awful. So, again, I can't jump off the Hurts train yet because, he didn't have performances like Daniel Jones, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen had last week, which we're going to get into later, and it's going to be so much fun. But anyways, as for the Vikings, what a bummer to get beat at your home by Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. I had this team as the third worst team in all of football, only ahead of the Rams and the Cardinals. That was embarrassing. Their interior offensive line got destroyed. Kirk Cousins could barely survive without getting hit. And it took away everything from a completely amazing Justin Jefferson performance. It was embarrassing. And I think that if they're not careful, they might get embarrassed again this week. Though I think it's not going to be an exact copy of last year. James Bradbury isn't there for starters, so Jordan Addison might be having a good game, and the Eagles' intermediate passing defense was questionable. But I don't think that O-line is going to hold up with Jalen Carter unless Kirk Cousins is making those throws that Mac Jones was making. All right, next up we have Packers at Falcons. I think I'm going to go with the upset here. I don't know why the Packers are getting super hyped. I watched the Packers-Bears tape from the Bears side, and the Packers were playing. I have the Bears a lot lower than I used to have them, and I was not high on that team. Okay, I'll get into them later, but as for the Packers, they played a good game against a very much inferior opponent. And the Falcons' offense, they looked very good. Desmond Ridder was iffy, but Bijan and Algier is the duo of the future. I wish that, they had a little bit more Bijan than Algier because he's just so much more talented. But, I think the Falcons are actually going to come away with this one and pull off the upset, technically. But I think the Falcons should win this one because, they're a more experienced team. Even though their players are young, they are more experienced, and I think that their defense will be a lot better than what they had to face in Chicago. It will kind of be more of a little, a wake-up game, even though the Falcons' defense isn't that good. Raiders at Bills. Now, okay. There are a lot of doubts about the Bills. Josh Allen played horrendously, but I'm just going to take it as part of the Josh Allen ride. He's going to have these type of games. And as for the Raiders, I'm shocked that they even beat the Broncos. A lot of shocking games in week 1. Don't know how much they keep this up, especially against the Bills team that is still very good. I think Josh Allen is going to have a lot of pressure on him to, keep his game up, to bring himself back to, a top 3 quarterback. And I think he will in this game. Because the Raiders' defense isn't good at all. The Broncos should have smoked that Raiders' defense, but they didn't. The only thing they really have there is their edge trio, but, I think the Bills should take this one. The Raiders do score a little bit, though. Ravens-Bengals. This is an extremely tough matchup right here. I'm going to have the Bengals. Just like what I said about Josh Allen, Joe Burrow is going to have a lot of pressure on himself in the home opener to, pick back up where he left off. He has to be better. He really has to be better, okay? And he's going to feel that pressure to be better against a good opponent in Baltimore. You cannot lose this game and go 0-2, losing 2 games in the division, and I think the Bengals know this, and they know that they have to bounce back. Seahawks at Lions is an interesting game. I'm honestly not that confident just because of the narratives here, right? You know, the Detroit Lions, they just beat the defending Super Bowl champions. And I get it. Oh, there's asterisks, They still beat Mahomes, okay? You can put it any way you want to put it, but they still beat Mahomes, and that is a feat in of itself. Now you're playing the Seattle Seahawks team who just lost to the Rams. And, you know, the Seahawks are a team on the down. The Detroit Lions look like a team on the up. And, you know, Seattle's just trying so hard to rebound while Detroit's kind of on top of the world. I'm going to pick Detroit here. But don't be surprised if Seattle kind of, you know, pulls off a little upset. Last year, this game was so super entertaining. And I don't think that Seattle's D-line is, Detroit's D-line is going to do what the Rams did. Even though the Rams don't have a particularly good D-line, they did have Aaron Donald, and he was enough to wreak havoc against Geno Smith. But Detroit's offensive line, it's a different story. The Detroit, you know, should pick up this game. Chargers at Titans. This is probably the game where Tannehill might get benched, honestly. I think there's already a really good chance of that happening. If you gave me any quarterbacks who were on the hot seat, my number one pick might be Tannehill. Zach Wilson is up there. You don't think any of the quarterbacks who had those shocker bad performances like Burrow and Allen are going to be up there on that list? But Tannehill is. Because Tannehill has been kind of like, for a while, like really, really mid. He used to be like good, but now he's just playing awful. Like in 2021 in the Bengals playoff game, he played awful. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't have this. So what are we going to do, right? And I think the Chargers, you know, the Tennessee Titans defense is good, not great. I don't think it's better than the Dolphins defense, and they put up 34 on the Dolphins defense, so you can only imagine what they're going to do, right? I mean, I love Mike Vrabel, but the Titans should start 0-2. I'm not very confident. This is an interesting game. I previously said that I had the Bucs as the third worst team in football. Baker Mayfield outplayed my expectations by a lot. I expected him to be like a bottom 5 quarterback, just like he was last year in Carolina. With the Rams, he was a little bit better, but I still had my big, massive doubts. But also, you know, the Bears have Justin Fields, who as a passer is bottom 5 in its own right. But Baker outplayed everyone's expectations. He started to gain that mojo back, and I like that. There might be something to this passing game. I'm going to pick the Bucs here. Because, I don't know, there's just something there to work with in Tampa Bay. And in the Bears, I watched the tape. It's an incompetent mess. It truly is. There's a video by the QB school breaking down the game between the Packers and the Bears from Justin Fields' perspective. Oh my God. I mean, it was horrible on every level. Nobody was pass protecting. The wide receivers showed no effort. Tight ends showed no effort. Justin Fields was missing reads. He was looking. He wasn't, throwing the ball in time. His drop back was slow. He wasn't progressing in his reads. I mean, it was literally like this perfect storm of circumstances. It was literally horrible. And for the Bucs to lose to that would shock me. And now you have the Chiefs at the Jaguars, and I have to pick the Chiefs here. First of all, they got their 2 best players back. Well, not besides Mahomes, their 2 best players. Travis Kelce and Chris Jones. And those 2 players make a difference, as you saw. Without Chris Jones, that D-line would be one of the worst in the league. The fact that they even manufactured pressure on Jared Goff on Thursday, that was impressive, and hats off to Spagnuolo. But Chris Jones is just going to make everything better on that front. And Travis Kelce, even more. You saw how bad those receivers were without Kelce. He is going to make everything click in that offense, just like it has been. And I love the Jags, and they're probably going to make this a close game, but the Chiefs know they have to bounce back. There's a lot of pressure on them to do so, and they will in this game in a statement. So, next up is Colts at Texans. I'm going to pick the Colts here. The Texans didn't show, they showed that they were like, kind of like this feisty team, but the Colts just showed way more promise, I mean, AR in his first game, somebody who, we label as a project, he was the best rookie quarterback in the league. He impressed. He impressed everyone. I was high on Anthony Richardson because he just had this high work ethic. Like, he was doing things that other players just don't do. He still does things that other players don't do. He's a super high character guy, and it's also showing on the football field. Again, he was the best rookie quarterback this week. Bryce Young, he had 2 picks, 2 massive mistakes. And C.J. Stroud didn't play all that well either. So I think that Anthony Richardson is going to take this. And this Colts team, I think it's pretty feisty. And a hot take that I have, but this is for the future. I wouldn't be shocked if the Colts do win a Super Bowl. Like a Super Bowl. Not a playoffs. No. A Super Bowl before the Jaguars do. Because I think their upside is immense. In the next 5 years or something. Next up, we have the 49ers and the Rams. And look, the Rams did win. But this 49ers team is just insanely crazy. I mean, no, it's not happening. The Rams, the 49ers own the Rams at this point. They signed the contract and everything. No, it's literally Jed York. No, Jed York owns the Los Angeles Rams, okay? And the entire 49ers franchise owns the Rams. It's not even close, okay? This is going to be a bloodbath. The thing about Seattle was that they're weak in the trenches, so the Rams, were able to have an easier time pass blocking, but against this 49ers D-line, that's just not happening. Matthew Stafford is going to just get destroyed. He's going to get shredded. And, I mean, the differences are insane. The Aaron Donald himself might get pressure on Brock Purdy, but other than that, they have nothing, right? Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell, they did impress, but again, this is a whole different beast. Giants at Cardinals, look, this should probably be the most lopsided game. I get that the Giants just got absolutely mopped across the field, 40-0, absolutely destroyed. No. Their head coach is Brian Daboll. They will bounce back, and they're also playing the worst team in the NFL by very, very, very much. I think the Cardinals are going 0-17 this year. The fact that Washington even made it close, I think that's just a sign that they're a bad team, not that the Cardinals are any good at all. Okay? The reason the Cardinals got sacks was because the Washington's O-line was even worse than I anticipated it would be. I won't give any credit to the Arizona Cardinals as long as Jonathan Gannon is their head coach, because he is a hack. He's horrible. Okay? I saw him in Philly. He is literal trash. They should be allowing 40 points a game. I really do think that. So the Giants are going to whip the Cardinals. Put them back in their place. Beat them by 30 points or something like that. It's going to be the most lopsided game of the week. Jets, Cowboys, this is going the Cowboys' way. I mean, the Cowboys' defense going up against Zach Wilson. Did you see what they did to Daniel Jones and the Giants last week? No, it's not happening. The Cowboys are going to win this game and by a very, very, I wouldn't say a very, very good margin because, again, the Jets' defense does exist, and look what they did to Josh Allen. This is going to be a pretty low-scoring game. These are two insane defenses. But the Cowboys their offense with Aaron Rodgers owns the Cowboys. I would say that, the Jets probably win it, but he's out. So, the Cowboys should win this game pretty handily. Commies at Broncos, I already said about the Commies in their game against the Cardinals. That was just more of a sign that they're bad than that the Cardinals are good. I won't believe that the Cardinals are good until they beat who I see as a quality opponent. And Washington, can't be a quality opponent because they made it close. I'm just going to be honest. And I know that kind of sounds self-contradictory, but it's the Arizona Cardinals, okay? Josh Dobbs is their starting quarterback. Their D-line shouldn't be manufacturing any pressure at all. And they have the worst head coach in the league. This is, like, I think the Commies are more of a mess than people make them out to be. They were losing by, like, 6 points at points in the game. This is not good. And I think that the Broncos' defense is going to be way better. If the Cardinals' defense can manufacture pressure, the Broncos are going to destroy the Commies. Like, I don't think this game is as close as people put it out to be, because the Broncos did look bad last week by losing to an also really bad opponent, the Raiders. Nobody's going to be watching this game. This game is probably going to suck. But I have the Denver Broncos winning. This is a tougher game than people are making out to be. Dolphins-Patriots. Okay. This is tough. I will have the Dolphins winning this one. But it's going to be very, very similar to the Eagles game. Because the Patriots defense is just insane. You know, they have Bill Belichick as their head coach. It should be insane. So it's tough. It's really, really rough. The Dolphins do usually beat the Patriots, which, you know, they have the edge in, but it's always going to be tough going on the road against the Bill Belichick team. So I can't say. I'll have the Dolphins winning this one, but it's a tough game. As for New England, again, Mac Jones really impressed me. Honestly, like, if Bill Belichick and the defense can lock up this super duper explosive offense, they might be fine, but I mean, the chances of that happening, like, it's tough. It's tough. And then you got the Saints and the Panthers, and I think this game is closer than a lot of people seem. I think the Panthers, this is going to be a tight game. No, like, the Saints didn't look exactly the best. There was, I didn't watch the game because, you know, it was not a good game. I don't watch, you know, a lot of bad games. I don't have Red Zone. But there was, like, a really bad, like, fumble call that could have gone the Titans' way. That could have been, I heard, a 10-point swing. Would have won the game. You losing to Ryan Tannehill, that would look very bad. You get it that Derek Carr didn't play exactly trash. But, like, you know, it's just questionable. You know what I mean? Like, I have questions about the Saints, but I just have even more questions about the Panthers. Like, it's just, Bryce Young didn't look great. And I have a lot of faith in Bryce Young. And it looks like this is going to be more of a slow start team that, you know, picks it up, you know, later in the year. So this is going to be like a slower start team, picks it up late in the year. But right now, I just don't think they're ready. You know, this Saints defense is a lot better than what they played in Atlanta. They don't have the receivers to deal with the secondary, and it's not going to be fun for Bryce Young in Game 2 against a much better Dennis Allen-led defense. And I get that he has his massive flaws as a head coach, but defensively, he is great. So the Panthers aren't going to have a lot of fun there. Now, Browns at Steelers, this one shouldn't be very close. I say close as in, like, you know, like, as in what the game looks like. I think the score is going to be close because, you know, the score, how many points will be scored? I'm going to go 16-10, 26 points. This is not going to be a high-scoring game, okay? I mean, the 49ers defense and the Browns defense, at least the D-lines, are quite comparable. One could even say, I would even say that the Browns D-line is probably better from a personnel standpoint. Now, coaching is a little different, but from a personnel standpoint, the Browns defensive line is, oh my God, Myles Garrett. No, like, the Steelers O-line is still growing, it's still evolving, it's still not great. I have the Browns winning this game. I think that, you know, Kenny Pickett and the offense are going to struggle mightily once again. But the Steelers' defense is also really, really good. I think Deshaun Watson's going to struggle as well. I can't see this being some shootout, high-scoring game. That's not happening. Both of these teams are going to... It's going to be field goal to field goal. It's it's going to be a war out there. A war in the trenches. And, it's an AFC North battle between two teams. The Steelers are trying to bounce back from a horrible loss. Don't think they can in this one. I think the Cleveland Browns should be taking it 16-10. And that is all. Drop a like, please. Actually do it. Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna, plug my Twitter, of course. Just check plugs. Check the plugs. My evil plugs. Anyways. Alright, bye guys.